All right. This week, the sky is giving tech glitches, plot twists, main character glow ups, buckle up baddies. We have a full moon reality check that is coming to help you own your inner boss bitch, and also a little chaotic genius transit sprinkled in there. Whilst we get a reminder from Big Daddy Saturn to slow the F down before we burn the F out. In other words, it's cosmic permission slip time to pause, pivot, power up, and enjoy your hot girl summer, okay?
Welcome to Cosmic RX Radio, a podcast that gives you real-life tools of spiritual empowerment and pure hype. I'm your host and intuitive guide, MADI Murphy. I'll be serving up your weekly energy readings, cosmic boss interviews, and astro inspiration. Are you ready to love yourself more, manifest your dream life, and own your magic? Let's jump in.
Before we get started, I'm your girl, your high vibe hype woman, Maddie Murphy, your cosmic consultant. Welcome to today's episode of Cosmic RX Radio, where I break down WTF is happening in the stars, how's it going to affect you, and of course, how can we align our highest and hottest self with that so we can not just survive, but thrive, all right? So before I get started, quick little cosmic planetary PSA. Mercury is officially in its retrograde shadow. So consider this your reminder on top of everything else, another little chaotic transit that just wants us to, slow the F down, double check everything, leave ourselves plenty of margins of time in our travel calendar life. And, of course, the people might start coming out the woodwork, okay? I will obviously do a full follow-up episode when Mercury is going retrograde. But I just like to remind us, especially for my Mercury heavy charts, my Virgo, my Geminis, like sun, moon, rising, the stelliums, we feel this, okay? We feel this, like the tech gremlin energy comes in hot for us in the retrograde shadow, okay? Kind of speaking of, but not speaking of, if you haven't pre-ordered my book in the Cosmic Zone yet, hello, are we waiting for a special invitation? Here it is. No, just kidding. But it was really fun. I had a chance to talk to someone in our community this week for a little interview about so many things. But one of the things was the book's birth chart. And of course, she pointed out that everything we do, we release under Mercury retrograde. So I just want this to be a reminder that we are not meant to fear the retrograde, but instead work with it, respect it, use it to better understand ourselves, our chances to go inward, to go back and review things, and to share things with the world, maybe that feel like, something we've already shared or a culmination of ourselves. And I love a retrograde time to do something, but it's just, I don't start something brand new. I don't put pressure on myself. I kind of trust, again, the cosmic rhythms. And it just so happens that I feel like I'm always launching stuff, buying stuff, signing leases, sometimes during retrograde. And of course, if I can avoid it, I do, but I also just trust that the universe has my back, and I use it instead as like a system of awareness, right? To double check those contracts, to know that when we move, the elevator might break down, which is a true story, and all of that goodness. So I'm already preparing for some hijinks, on the day that In the Cosmic Zone comes out. But I hope that the book is a reminder to trust your chart and trust the planetary rhythms in all ways, right? And also, if you haven't ordered it, it comes out July 29th. If you order it before then, you get to unlock some magical bonus goodies, including one of them, speaking of our cell phones, is a custom designed, supercharged up individual affirmation wallpaper for every zodiac sign. So we're turning your cell phones into spell phones because why not use these mobile devices for mystical purposes? We're touching them all day, every day anyway. Why don't we manifest some good things with them? So the link is in the show notes. And also for my New York City, New York State, tri-state area cosmic cuties, or anybody who has some, frequent flyer miles or feels like taking a little road trip this summer, we are doing a Montauk book launch party. Montauk is all the way out in the east end of Long Island, but super cosmic, cool beach town. We are doing a Montauk book launch party on Tuesday, July 29th, the day it comes out, this little Leo baby. And then my New York City, my cosmopolitan cuties, we are doing a high vibe happy hour in honor of the book coming out on 8/12, right after 8/8 Lionsgate, right after the full moon in Aquarius. What's a better time to celebrate creativity and all of you creatives while gathering in community and just hugging it out, I hope. And, it's really cool. I opened the book talking about the Leo Aquarius eclipses and that 8/8 Lionsgate, when I went up against having to protect my intellectual property against Starbucks. And I'm like, it's so cool if astrology isn't real. Like, why is my book coming out exactly in like the Leo Aquarius, like full moon time this season? I had nothing to do with that. That was all my publisher coming out on my dad's birthday, 6 months from my mom's birthday. These are the things in life that remind us we're so divinely guided, protected, and directed. And every time I get really Virgo in my head about this book launch and wanting to do things perfectly and like, la 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 la, monkey mind, I'm like, girl, chill out. Like, this is so much bigger than you. You're being held by something so much bigger than you. So if this is something you need to be reminded of today, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay, let's talk about who wants to talk about the moon. Let's talk about the moon, your mood, what they have to do with each other. As a reminder, the moon really helps us understand our inner world, our emotional landscape. And now more than ever, we need to understand how we can show up regulated, grounded, centered for all of this chaos. So July 7th, 7/7, another numerological portal, if you're into that, which I love numbers. I do. So 7/7 is very cool. And the day of 7/7 is the day Uranus goes into Gemini. Yikes, so many fun things. And opposite that, the moon will be in Sag. The moon will be in Sag on July 7th and July 8th. So this is giving spontaneous combustion of cosmic, creative, social energy. So let's dance. Let's be curious. Let's go out. Let's teach. Let's even preach a little. Let's just really like be out there in the mix. Let's click and clack. What I'm going to say we're not going to do on these days is being flaky or being shaky. Like, let's be really clear in our yeses, clear in our no's. Let's also like really honor what we're speaking about, like being careful with gossip. It might come back to bite you in the butt if you don't like slow down and really be conscious with your words. And also, I would love for you to do something these days where you're feeling really grounded in your nervous system. Eat some healthy fats, ground down, touch grass, slow down, less doom scrolling, more joyful creating, okay? Because the anxiety might feel like that leading into a full moon. Oof, even I'm taking my own advice here. I got to take it down a notch those days. So July 9th, 10th, and 11th, rounding out the week, is the moon in Capricorn with the full moon on July 10th. This full moon is such a cosmic like review of the past 6 months. And we'll get into that more in the planetary planning. But I do want you to think about like, what are you building, right? And it's kind of easy, even if you're not like super into astrology, you're working with the moon, but Jupiter's in Cancer, so you should be working with the moon. To think about, it's 6 months from the start of the year. So thinking about like where you were in the beginning of 2025, what were our goals? What were our intentions? What were the things that we said we wanted, to do differently this year? What was the vision board? Are we building that, right? Are we working towards that? Do we need to do a little audit? So those days, can you do something that helps you get back on track, that helps you feel like you, that helps you edit something, cut out something, or start something, or restart something that feels really good for your nervous system to kind of expand your capacity around, what you're meant to do for the rest of the year, right? 2025 and I'm sure well into 2026. So then July, rounding out the weekend, we have an Aquarius not Aquarius full moon, a full Aquarius moon weekend. Thinking about, this is a great time to be with family, friends, your community. Who are the people who lift you up, who support you, who have your back? We're going to hear me and everyone else, and till we're blue in the face, talking about the power of community and who are the people who have your back, who are the people that you can create more together with and apart. And like, who have you? Maybe life is busy. Do we need to check in with some of them? Can we do something? Can we gather? Also, can we maybe find new community in your local neighborhood online? I love this for Aquarius moon days. I also love like a cleanup of like our digital clutter on those days. Like, let's close out some open tabs. Let's delete some apps. Let's like freshen up, right? The digital realm, it feels really good. And we're just going to avoid these days feeling like, sometimes the mind can, again, really spin all this air. So the Aquarius moon with Pluto and Aquarius, with Uranus and Gemini, we're going to be feeling maybe a little bit more anxious than normal. So what do we do, right? Listen to your body. What helps you get out of that mind loop? Is it meditation? Is it being in nature? Is it talking it out with a friend? Is it, reading a good book that you can get lost in? Let's be mindful of that. And let's also make a note, because that's going to be really important for the next 8 years with Uranus and Gemini. Something tells me. Okay, so let's get into the planetary planning of it all. So just as a reminder, we are officially blasting off into a new era on July 7th, 7/7, as Uranus enters Gemini for the first time since 1941. And this is so many things. It's innovation station. So welcome. We are going to be really working for the next 8 years. And again, it'll retrograde back into Taurus. But when, it goes back in completely in 2026, we're going to be really entering, Uranus, rebellion, shock, upheaval, breakthroughs in the sign of Gemini, ideas, tech, community. And for us on the individual level, if you want to go deeper, I did record a personal sign by sign, what this means for you, how to work with this energy for the Cosmic RX Plus premium members. And of course, I'll be dropping things here, but this is a big transit and you might feel it as a slower build. But I also expect that really even just this coming week, you're going to start to understand the assignment, understand the thesis statement for these next few years. And just, for a little context, Uranus moved into Taurus in 2018. Now, granted, Uranus, shock, upheaval, disruption in the sign of Taurus was those are kind of awkward bedfellows, meaning the Taurus energy likes things to stay the same, likes comfort, likes safety, security. And so Taurus, that part of your chart went through this revolution, this rebellion. So what does that look like to you? What does that look like? And this might give you a little bit of an understanding of what's coming next. But now it's in Gemini. And I think that Gemini definitely loves chaos way more than Taurus. So in some ways, we'll be thriving. But in some ways, it's going to be oh my God, slow this crazy train down a little bit. So again, if you want more information, go head over to cosmicrx.com, sign up for our premium membership. You get loads of fun goodies. And one of the things that actually happened, is kind of the coming off of the Jupiter and Gemini of it all. So you could also look to the past year from May 2024 to June 2025. Jupiter was in Gemini, and it might have shown you something in your Gemini part of your chart that wants to grow, that wants to expand, that wants to pick a new path. I wrote a book. We also started a blog. We also shifted our newsletter over to Substack. So come find us there if you want to. But what was going on in the Gemini part of your chart, chances are that's also going to give you a hint of some of what is coming. Okay. So now on to the full moon. Like I said, July 10th, we have this full moon in Capricorn. So what I would like for you to do is look back to the new moon in Capricorn, which for reference was December 30th. So right at the end of 2024, what was going on then? Do you want to look at your phone, your journal, your emails, your texts, your photos, what was starting? And this might be, I would give you a hint into what is culminating, what wants to be not really released right now, but used, what is charged up, that's coming into full culmination under this full moon. That's showing you, okay, now it's time for the next thing, or to really appreciate this. Just as a reminder, full moons, I think they get a little twisted online. They are for manifesting, yes, but more about manifesting through embodiment, through appreciation, through gratitude, for being holy shit, celebration, I effing did it. I did this thing. And the only way we can do that is if we understand what's been going on. We move really fast as humans. It's really hard to remember that we might be right now in the moment of appreciating, experiencing, having something that 6 months ago was a dream, was a prayer, was a wish, was an intention spoken over candlelight at a new moon ceremony to close out the year. So I want you to look back at what was going on 6 months ago and really let yourself revel in your own growth, in your own persistence, your perseverance, very Capricorn themed things. And of course, working with this full moon, I'm going to give you 5 things to note to do, but that's always the first step, is this reflection. taking a moment, soaking it in, and then seeing less of something we're releasing, but thinking about if you planted a seed 6 months ago, what are we doing with the fruit of that seed? And yes, sometimes, we plant things and some of that does have to be pruned away. Some of that has to drop to the earth to be broken down, to be fertilized into new energy. But then some of that fruit is being taken to the next step, right? To make a beautiful pie with, or a jam, or a lovely, robust wine. So I want you to go back and look at what was going on 6 months ago. Then I want you to definitely look at your Capricorn part of your chart. Again, I will do a breakdown on Cosmic RX Plus for the readings for what's going on this full moon for your sign. But I also think about like you looking in your chart and understanding what planets, if any, do you have there? Do you have any angles? Do you have any important placements or asteroids? Or is your Black Moon Lilith, is your Chiron there? That will help you understand, especially if it's within 10 degrees, like the impact of this full moon, the story, the celestial story, the planetary poetry that's playing out right now. Okay. So after you do that, let's talk a little bit about this full moon, and as a reminder, it's making a trine with Mars in Virgo. Mars has been in Virgo, an earth sign, helping us get shit done, helping us edit things, helping us get really clear, get really into the place of like perfecting, reviewing, revamping, recalibrating plans, happening alongside of this Mercury in Leo shadow, right? Retrograde shadow. And Capricorn is about ambition and achievement, but it's also about mastery. It's about being our own authority. It's about taking radical responsibility for ourselves and doing the damn thing. And because we have also like all this Aries in our chart right now with Saturn and Neptune, because we also have Jupiter in Cancer, because we also have Mercury in Leo, there's something here about like, what do you need under this full moon? Do you need to pull your energy back in? Do you need to do something for you? Do you need to reassess and tighten up your boundaries? I have two young babies, well under two, right? And I'm working, running the business, planning this book launch. And I had a Mars in Virgo complete like breakdown moment of like, I was feeling really like angry and tense, which is not really my natural core nature last week. And, one of my friends who has a Mars in Virgo gently reminded me like, you've just been going really hard and you really haven't had time for yourself. So of course, like you're going to feel like you're clenching your way through life, even though my mind, I'm happy. I love my life. Everything's good. But it's like my energy field is just getting like ramped up and there hasn't been like a good release, recenter to come back to. So with the Mars and Virgo trining this Capricorn full moon, it is going to help you get things done. But with that and like the Aries and the Cancer of it all, there is a story under this full moon that is like, do we need to pull it back in for you? And also, do we need to do something for you that might be like bringing your dreams out into the world? Because of the Mercury in Leo, it's like if you have something to create, make, or that makes you happy right now, I need you to honor that. I need you to stop diminishing that. I need you to stop, editing your soul to fit inside a crumbling system that was never built for your brilliance. This creative spark, you might be feeling this, a divine nudge or inkling, that goosebump giving idea that won't leave you alone. It's not random. It's sacred. It's necessary more than ever. I'm going to talk about Saturn going retrograde. This is going to be a reckoning, I think, under this full moon in Capricorn for you of like, the world doesn't need more productivity robots and people who are hacking, how to do more in a day, or being a corporate clone, or creating content for content's sake. The world needs you in your messiness, raw, radiant, remembering your power. And, like imposter syndrome is something that so many of us incur, but it's such a lie manufactured by the mediocre. We got to let it go. You don't need to earn your rest. You don't need to earn your worthiness to create. Whatever you want to create, whatever you want to make, wants to make something within you. Whatever you want to bring out in the world wants to bring something out in you as well. And we are in it, right? We're in this once in a lifetime historical shift. We are in so much astrology, a revolution. It's crazy. This is not the time to water yourself down, to focus on like the getting things done, the tasks at hand that you felt like you had to do. This is an era of like fighting for your dreams and fighting for what connects you to your life force and going after all that unapologetically. Fascism wants us afraid of our visions, afraid of our magic. The patriarchy, right? Full moon in Capricorn, the old ways. It wants us feeling like we have to be a cog in the machine, that we can't speak, that we can't create, that we can't have joy, that we can't do things on our own term. But we need to disrupt with color. We need to disrupt with wild, beautiful art, with new stories, new experiences being brought forward. Just like you have a holy thread, like a beautiful, luminous thread that only you can weave in this new tapestry that we're creating of a more inclusive, more imaginative, more soul lit reality. So stop waiting for permission. Okay. This full moon in Capricorn, please stop doubting those desires. Please stop shrinking just yourself, your soul, your art to fit the mood of this room. Because this room, the room of the current system we're in, if you can't tell, it's stinky. It's a stinky room. Okay. We need some fresh air. We need some new sweetness in this space. So that's my little sermon over. But just as a reminder, right? The full moon in Capricorn can do a few things to us. It can be like, push harder, go harder, work harder. Or it can say, hey, I'm actually here to not be some kind of cog in this corporate capitalist machine, but instead I can use that Capricorn energy of leadership, of structure, of motivation, of ambition, of taking radical responsibility for my own dreams with intentional integrity. And I can do something really fucking cool for myself and others. All right. So anyway, okay, sermon over for real. 5 things I want you to think about under this Capricorn full moon. In addition to all of that, check in with yourself. Like I said, 6 months ago, what was going on? What's working? What's not? Where do you want to course correct? 2, I would love for you to do some kind of, candle lit release ritual. If anything I just said resonated with you, write down your limiting beliefs around success, burn them. It's so easy. It sounds, I know, like, what is that going to do? It's just energy. These thoughts, are they something real? They're just energy. They're energy taking up too much damn real estate in your mind, in your aura, in your heart, in your soul. Burn them. It's so powerful. It's a powerful ritual. 3, I would love for you to write like your next level cosmic mission statement. This is like CEO of the soul vibes, not like a mission statement, like a cheesy corporate one on a website. But I would love for you to write 2 or 3 sentences. I have all my clients do this. I have all my cosmic bosses do this. What is your soul here to do? And I want you to put that somewhere, and I want you to make it fun, and I want you to make it feel really alive and activating for you. And I want you to be like that if Capricorn is reminded of our inner, like, boss energy, our inner CEO energy, what's the mission statement? What's guiding us? It's so, again, powerful to write that down, to see it. I also want you to, I want you to celebrate. I want you to treat yourself. I want you to do something where you're listing 5 wins, 5 celebrations from the past 6 months, big or small. And then I want you to treat yourself. Capricorn is also the sign of luxury, of being like hard-earned rewards, right? From our efforts. And it's not all work and no play. It's like, no, I climbed the mountain. Now I get to enjoy the view. Okay. So what can we do to treat yourself, to celebrate yourself, to honor that? And then that kind of ties into maybe the last way to work with this full moon in an embodied way. I would love for you to ground with some earthy elemental self-care. So what are some earth things? Can we just sit against a tree, talk to your ancestors? Can we, get a massage? Can we do a foot soak? Can we like maybe treat ourselves to a new crystal? What makes you feel really grounded and feeling really like connected to earth and to your body? Because full moons, they activate us, and feeling like in our body is how we can integrate all that yummy energy versus having it feel like it's overcoming us. Okay. In, this week we have Uranus and Gemini, we have this full moon in Cap. And then just an interesting, what I kind of alluded to before, Saturn is going retrograde on July 13th, and that will stay retrograde till November 27th. And again, this happens every year. Saturn is retrograde for a big part of the year. So it's not really like, again, a fear-based retrograde moment. It's more of understanding the rhythm that we're in. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So it's interesting coming after the full moon in Capricorn. Last year's full moon in Capricorn was very interesting. And so when we saw Joe Biden step down, and then we saw Brat Girl Summer kick into full gear with Kamala's campaign. So I'm like, ooh, with full moon Capricorn, Saturn in retrograde, can we maybe enjoy and expect something interesting happening, like with the toxic patriarchal fascist vibes going on? I hope so, but let's put that out. Let's put out that prayer into the universe. And for you personally, you know, she's reversing. She's reversing through Aries into being like, what have we learned in this Aries part of our chart? Like, are we leading our own life? Are we just performing for others? Are we performing confidence? Are we really saying, like, unapologetically, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, this is what's important to me? Or are we still in that place of like looking around and making sure that like everyone else is cool with it before we do it? And she's going to slide back into Pisces during this retrograde for another vibe check on your dreams and boundaries and magic and spiritual practices. So my Saturn in Aries, my Saturn in Pisces cohort, these are just big times for you. But for all of us, here are 5 things to know, do for Saturn retrograde. And if you want to go deeper in Saturn and Aries and what all that means, especially if you're in your Saturn return, don't forget, I did a workshop. The replay is available through our Astro Academy. But one, I want you to think about, just slowing your roll. When Saturn goes retrograde, especially like it's been, a lot of heat, a lot of forward motion, there might be things that are like delays as divine reroutes, right? Blocks as blessings, rejection as protection on a larger level. Truly, I was so humbled writing my book. I was really trying to think of all these times, all these stories where I felt really in alignment and really directly, divinely directed and protected and held. And I was like, oh my God, it was almost, there was too many stories to even keep put in the book. So many stories of things just not working out. Jobs, partnerships, romantic relationships, apartments, opportunities to travel, things that just didn't work out, friends, whatever. And they were such good misses. They were such like, holy shit, thank you, universe, for that thing not working out, because it allowed me to stay so much more in my center, in my alignment, and trust and be a magnet for the things that actually like were my true aligned match. So yeah, just trusting that. 2, really audit your aura. Like, I talk about this in my book a little bit, but like the Capricorn, Saturn energy, Aries energy, Pisces energy, actually too. These are all energies that want us to really like take into account like our energy, what's draining our energy, what's adding to our energy. Are our goals really aligned with our soul? Do we have to redefine success, or are these just things that are feeding our ego or looking for someone else's like validation, acceptance, approval? And like in that auric field, like, yeah, really like pay attention to your energy. What lights things up? What drains things? And again, like a bank account, like what are you pouring into that's pouring back into you? And what are you pouring into that you're like, this is turning out to be not the best investment. I'm a little bit in the red here. 3, I want you to reinforce your foundations. I want you to kind of in the same vein, I want you to think about during Saturn retrograde, what are your non-negotiables in terms of your rituals, in terms of your routines, in terms of what you need from people around you? Again, all connected back to your why. Like what helps you stay steady, stay going, and what again are the Saturn non-negotiables? Like this is not up for discussion. 4, think about during this time as we and we go back, you might be wanting to redefine or refine your identity, your leadership. Who are you becoming? Who are you becoming when no one's watching? How are you being called to stand up, to speak out, to do something differently, to maybe be a little bit of a disruptor in a certain industry or in your family line? Is there something where you're really like being asked to trust your unique cosmic blueprint, your unique magic? I talked about this again with writing my book. My book isn't the typical astrology book. And I think I had a lot of doubts around that at certain moments. Like, should I do the books, like some of the astrology books that I read growing up? This is more of like a self-development guide. It's just like a conversation with the bestie and also understanding how to use we all have these 12 archetypes within us. It's like they're like cosmic costumes, to dress up for our soul, to understand all of them. And this is the work that helped me get where I am, that I've shared with my clients. So I know it works, but I had those doubts of like, this just isn't like every other format. You pick up astrology books in the bookstore, mine is not going to look like that on the inside. But I had to just keep trusting, like, this is my authentic self. I rather put out something that's like a little different and messy and a little awkward, but me, than trying to be something else, because we don't need that. The world doesn't need more fake shit, babe. Okay. It needs you in your authenticity, in your magic, being in alignment with that and really honoring that with integrity. And then, I want you to think about the Saturn retrograde, making space for structure. Creativity needs boundaries too. I am, a total party girl, free spirit. So for many, many, many years, I resisted discipline, structure. It just felt like, oh, that's not me. And it's true, the old ways, like the really corporate way of doing that is not me. But truly, when I started inviting in discipline as an act of devotion, structure as something that's sexy, it actually helped me create more freedom and more ease. And, even now, like I mentioned, being kind of having a breaking point of just feeling frustrated last week and overwhelmed. It was just so easy for me to come back into my boundaries after that, because I've built things that I know I'm like, actually, these certain structures really help me. And the fact that that was the first moment I was really feeling that way after, again, launching a book, having 2 babies, managing, my house and family, other things in my business and clients. That's shit that MADI a few years ago, I couldn't do one of these things without feeling nervous system overload, burnout, being so brittle, so bitter. And that's like not how I want you to move through the world. I want you to feel well resourced. I want you to feel like you're expanding your container and capacity to actually enjoy the things you're creating. Because what is the point of manifesting, creating your dream life, your dream partnerships, your dream work, your dream career, your dream art, if you're like not able to enjoy it? And a lot of that comes from actually having delicious, divine discipline and soulful, sexy structures in place. Yeah. And then just, as an overall reminder, Saturn rules karma. Saturn is really connects us to our karma. So while it goes retrograde, we might notice like, if there's little karmic entanglements or patterns or things that are coming up that we've met before. And just remember, it's up to you and only you to choose a new path. The karmic pattern, the lesson will keep repeating until you meet it where it's at and make a new decision, make a new choice, carve a new path forward. You've got this, right? It's so part of your divine design. It's why you're here. And again, just as a reminder, the universe is moving fast this week, but this doesn't mean you have to. You still have plenty of permission to stay rooted, to stay flexible, to say no when you need to say yes when you need to stay in your magic. Again, as a reminder, I would so appreciate if you pre-ordered in the Cosmic Zone. Get those spell phone wallpapers. Come party with us in Montauk, NYC. Get your own guide to this wild ride of being a human. And just as a reminder, you're doing better than you think. I keep saying as a reminder, but there's a lot of things I always like to close out with. But really what's on my heart right now is I just want to tell you, like, you're doing better than you think. You are literally here trying to show up open-hearted and bring some sort of sparkle and glitter and colorful magic to a world that is burning down and that some people are trying to suck all the joy and freedom out of. So yeah, like we need you in that glitter, stardust, sparkle space all the time and more than ever. So you do what you got to do to get there, baby girl. Okay. So until next week, I am wrapping you in so much love and so much stardust, sending you big ass blessings for those big, fat, juicy checks, hot, fulfilling, toe curling sex. I'll see you in the stars. And next week, so much love to you, my baddies. Mwah. Do you love getting your Cosmic RX for the week here and want more? Make sure to sign up for our premium subscription so you can get exclusive access to bonus podcast episodes, all of my astrology info for the month ahead, and live new and full moon calls to help you manifest your dream life with an intentional international community of other cosmic baddies. Sign up through our link in show notes.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you want to know more about Cosmic RX, head on over to thecosmicrx.com. And if you really love this show, I'd love it if you left a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. I super love hearing from you and reading your reviews. All right, you cosmic baddie, tune in next week. And until then, remember, love yourself fully, work your magic, and take no shit.